Good evening, and welcome to our final of our fun season. Definitely turned from fun to competitive and back to fun again. Keen to see how these shake out and end up at the end of this.
Well, we know that RTA is going to win again, third year in a row. Or are your pace guys going to step up this year?
Well, look, there's two pace teams in this, so we never know how it's quite going to shake out. Look, RTA boys definitely have
a little bit of rivalry
a very
jokes there.
strong team. RTA boys definitely have a great, strong team there, but oh man, like I keep saying, you make one prediction and then these will show you by the end of it that you are completely wrong because some dark horse coming from the back could win it, or the guy that we thought was going to mess up is actually star player.
Exactly what Murray Walker used to say, anything can happen, and it usually does.
Exactly.
And a surprise guest for tonight, we've got Mr. JOO Pace joining us as well.
Take some time for his audio to come through.
Yeah, it's on the PSN app, so yeah, it takes him a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds. In the meantime, I'm just looking, we've got so far 10 cars on track. We're supposed to be starting qualifying in the next minute. Let's quickly go and see how many people we have. 2 people short at the moment. Just YouTube decided to open a naked insurance advert.
These ads.
Mr. Vanner, how's it going in the chat? We've got some other guys in already. We're jumping on to qualifying already. We've got a couple of guys that still need to get in, but with load shedding, we did tell them 10 to 9 strictly starting qualifying. So hopefully they manage to join us shortly. Back to our jokes about the teams. We've got 2 pace boys. We've also got the RTA team. And then we've got 2 other teams in the qualifiers. We've got, let's actually give them their official names. We've got Master Pace. That's with Sam N and Ghost Killer. Then we've got Race Pace, which is Yasteel, Manny and Ravanti. We've got the RTA guys, RTA Nagasaki Terriers, as they call themselves. Inside joke, the Stignator, Lorenzo and Safa. Then we have the Dream Team, which are the KBR boys, RBS Performance, GT7 season champion. We have KBR, I think it's EcoBoost, I'm not actually sure. Wolfie had to pull out just before we went onto the no sub rounds. And then we have Hollywood, who should be joining any minute. We then have the wildcard team, Cape Town Racers, or CPT Racers. I'm assuming that's Cape Town, might not be. That's Nadim, Shakili, and Naeem. So yeah, who's your money on? Which pace teams coming second?
Look, I have to be sort of brand loyal here, but in all honesty, the base team of Sam and the boys, they're quite strong. I mean, Sam is a multi-winner here in GTSA, and he's very well known around the tracks. So I do believe that's a strong team, but the RTA boys always bring their A game.
I'll raise you, Sam, and bring in Lorenzo.
That's
in the
another
GTS days, I think he was our 4 times in a row champion. Safa with 1 and Stignator pool 1. But yeah, it's actually quite interesting, the team selection. I see Sam, Ravanti, let's go Sam and the Dream Team, RBS. They're the 2 quickest drivers in their team, and they're both in the GR1. With RTA, they've got Stignator, who's not slow, but they've got Safa and Lorenzo running in the GR3s. A little bit of strategy there. What do you think about that?
Look, when we were running out our fun pace team, we definitely weren't the fastest players by any means, but we also put, the good guys in the group 3 and the slow person in the group 1, just to hedge your bets a bit. It is a lot about a strategy here. It's a lot about where you're strong.
You've got 2 GR3s and only 1 GR1. So for every let's say the 2 seconds the GR1 loses, the GR3 guys have to make up 1 because you've got 2 of them.
Yeah, again, like we said, we were just trying different things, and because we weren't the greatest of the bunch, we were doing it mainly for fun, as the name suggests. But again, the strategies these guys come up with is quite phenomenal. We can hear your new pupper there in the background.
Yeah, that's a big one barking at the new one. She's fine, very good. Double O, are you there? Sorry, I actually forgot to join for a sec.
I'm here.
Just hit your volume to the max there. And then the guys can hear you over me and Trivs.
Is it good now?
I can hear you, but it's quite quiet. Just go. I don't know if you can see on the app, there's a little indicator bar on the chat. Just fiddle around there in the meantime, man. Guys watching, can you hear Ganiwe? Even if he is a bit quiet, just see if his voice is actually being shared or not.
Just looking in the chat there, Mr. Obvious saying we are winning when we don't talk bull. Band of Victorious, Azir Bud, nice, welcome in, and JP. Welcome in, bud, welcome in.
Yeah. Just for interest's sake, we are now on the first flying laps at the moment. Sam's the first car, he's coming into the second chicane on the Malzahn. Raventy a little bit behind him, they're nicely spread out. So we're about 2 minutes away from the first times coming in. And then they should have enough time to get a second flying lap for the GR1s. So all the pressure on, 2 chances, and that's it. Long track, short qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, we all knew sort of Lesotho was going to definitely be either in the final of this one because you like patterns. And we love this track, it's always a good showdown. This long straight is definitely going to be a killer for the Group 3s and a lover for the GR1s, but coming down to that final corner there is going to be where it's made or lost, I believe, because if you slightly too late on the brake, slightly too early, you're going to drop down at least 5 seconds there, and to make that 5 seconds up in that last sector, it's going to be very difficult. And the 787 we know has great top end, great fuel saving, it's good on tires. Are there any Saubers? Am I seeing a Sauber here?
Stignator.
Yeah, I think Stig is good also. Yeah, Stig.
It is a very good looking Sauber, but it is going to make it very, very difficult for him, and I do think he's had a little bit of a tough time
RBS, I think,
in the past races that we've seen. What's happening, how it's carrying on, and how you're going to carry it through your race.
Been revealed on Friday that the guys had the whole week to practice, but the settings, the tyre wear, the weather, all those conditions were only released to them at 5 o'clock today, so no one's actually had a chance to do 20 million test runs. I believe you were saying your one teammate managed 2 earlier, but with random weather, no one actually knows what it's going to do, so they won't be prepared and they'll have to react as you would in real life. Could throw a little spanner in the works about halfway through. We also added must-use hards as the condition on the one of the parameters, the word I was looking for.
I have a feeling some guys are going to be using hards for the first lap, the first lap only, and then switch back in because you're going to lose so much of time on hards if everybody else is on mediums.
Not much, actually. Not much.
Maybe it's just
to be honest, but no, there's always like a certain doubt to it, you know, like the hards can work, but then you just know there's always going to be a sector where you're going to lose out, but they work. That's what I can see. They work.
Especially the last sector here with the Porsche curves, the hards you slide around it quite a lot. But yeah, we'll see what the guys do. Maybe first lap or last lap. Be quite interesting. There's a threat of rain. I put a R3 about just after halfway. So R3 for 5 minutes should be fine to stay on slicks, but we don't know what it's going to do on either side of that with the random weather settings. Just looking on track, Stignator third currently, obvious second, Sam first. We've got minute 40 to go, so some of these guys have finished. I don't think they'll get another lap. And then first of the GR3s at the moment is Lorenzo. EcoBoost is second, Ghost Killer third, Superman fourth, but looks like he's still on a lap. We've got Hollywood and Nadine just joined now, which is, they must have got disconnected. Yastil 8th, Naeem 9th. We've got 14 drivers on track at the moment, one missing. Mo, you can't hear JOO. You can't hear him at all, or is he just quiet? JOO, talk.
I know I've been a bit of a quiet one, but I've been fighting the laptop here, so it's a bit of a mixed bag.
Okay.
But I'm sure Mo can hear me now.
Maybe just check quickly in the 20 seconds we got left on YouTube. You can give us your prediction quickly, JOO. 10 seconds to the start.
I would say for the GR one, I'd give it to Sam because that man just knows how to make that 787 work. And then for the GR3, it's going to be a spicy one because I think Lorenzo could get it comfortably, but yeah, if him and Safa fight, might just open the door to maybe at least Ghost Killer or even for us,
Yeah, I've got to agree with Jay there. Good prediction there, but coming up to the start of this race, by the way, Jay, we can hear you quite nicely on YouTube. It's just a bit soft. You want to speak a bit louder? Lights out and away they go. It's coming into quite a tight turn one coming up. Ability on Sam's rear in there, trying to make it very difficult for him to come into the space here. Other groups, one car's also putting in a lot of pressure coming in. Oh, good touch, getting him spun. All out of shape there for Dean. Very unfortunate. In the Sauber as well, very difficult car to handle. Oh man, it looks like they're going to be settling up soon. A nice separation coming from the Group 1s to the Group 3s. And everybody will be settling into the positions after that chaotic start.
Sorry, I just need to jump out and back in to get the TV view. There we go. So we've got Sam out in front. We've got Ravanti with a half-second penalty on RBS also. Stignator making a move on RBS there into the chicane. I think that RBS looking to get back there. The two Saubers, they're going to have their work cut out against the screaming Mazdas. Then Nadim 5th in class at the moment, SAF1. GT3s look a lot closer. We've got Lorenzo just ahead of Safa, slightly behind. Superman with Yastil and EcoBoost 2 abreast, coming down to is that the second chicane. Looks like we're going to have 3 wide coming up here.
Spicy.
EcoBoost backing out of it a little. Yastil and Manny fighting each other. A little touch there with one of the cars.
Oh, getting all out of shape there for Manny, losing the position.
Yastil
Getting when it happens.
Half a second penalty. Indians running a Genesis, which is always an interesting choice. New car to GT7. Quite a few of the pace guys I've seen use it over time, not really many others, so you guys must know the secret.
I'm just convinced that they like pain in their lives. That car is a handful.
Yeah, so we've got a whole bunch of Supras and then a few variants. Ghost Killer down 13th, Hollywood 14th, Nadine 15th with a bit of contact damage. We go back to the front. Sam 1 second ahead of Ravanti, but Rav's just had to serve a 1 second penalty. Stignator running in third. obvious 4th, and Nadim 5th. Last race, obvious was in great form. He, I think, ended up about 35 seconds ahead of the one pace team, and Stignator had a bit of a rough night. A couple spins, he was about a minute back. But yeah, obvious, definitely not out of this, only 6 seconds behind. Stignator only 3 seconds off the pace, actually closing in on Raventy now that he served his 1 second penalty, and Sam with a little bit of breathing room out front. You want to run through the GR3s for us, Tribs?
Yeah, sure. Going to be relying on the YouTube stream here, so it'll be seeing it as you guys see it. Here's RTA Gutierrez coming through. What is that in the Super as well? A very nice looking Super. Stab speed is quite lovely. Behind him there's RTA Safa and the iconic RTA livery. In 8th, Superman, another pace member there. Just side note, I've made his car's livery quite a while back, and it is still holding strong.
It's still hot.
Then behind him is Fawaz, otherwise known as Onion 786, coming in the Genesis. We don't know why he likes it, but it seems to work for him. Behind him there, I'm not able to see the name, I do apologize.
That's Steel.
Sorry, it's Steel Pace, another livery I've made, absolutely awesome. He's got great pace coming through in this race. We're going to see his fuel saving skills come through as well. Behind him there is Bryson, otherwise known as Ghost Killer Pace, in the GTR. Most people call it a turbo brick. It is very difficult to handle, but he seems to be keeping it on track. Very nice and tight. This is the name I'm not able to see. Ashika 7. Also in another Supra. Behind there is KBR EcoBoost in a Porsche, and KBR Hollywood as well. And then bringing up the rear is Naeem. Not sure what happened there. Maybe he just wasn't able to qualify. We did see that he joined in a bit late, but that Porsche looking mean as all hell.
A couple of dogs playing here next to me.
The KBR Hollywood looking all kinds of fine in that Supra as well. These liveries on track are absolutely amazing. I'm loving it. Really,
so we still got this
it.
8th to 9th, 8th, 9th, 10th place battle with Superman, Steel and Onion. Manny just getting a little break there through the chicane on the two of them. I think Steel might have just gone in a bit hot and held himself and Onion up, but that's one of the close battles on track. We just want to go forward a bit. Lorenzo running a half-second penalty with Safa just behind him, so that should bring him nose to tail. And then going back to the front, we've got Nadim 15 seconds, Obvious another half-second penalty, 8 seconds, Stignator 5.8, Raventy only 2.6 off the lead. He's come back a little bit on this lap. Just running through. I see the first two are running mediums. Stignator running softs and Obvious is on hard. So we obviously got the answer to that strategy call. Obvious taking these hards at the start, the compulsory hard tyres. So almost 2 laps in on a long circuit, only 10 seconds off the lead. He's still riding this. Nadim's on mediums, then going to the GR3s. Softs for Safa and Lorenzo. Basically just going through the field. The first medium runner is Inyan in 10th place. Then Ghost Killer also on mediums. Eco Boosters on hards. Shakil Pili is also hards. So I've got 2 dogs really going mad here. And then Nadim Mohammed also hards.
I love it.
Puppy teeth in my leg, but anyway. Jay, what's up? Give us your thoughts so far. 7 minutes down, 33 to go.
It seems like a quiet race so far. I mean, everyone's just settling in. I mean, I don't think the pace patrol is ready to, give the no fighting order, but everything is all good. RTA looking comfortable in the front, so yeah, I think for us in that medium, it might just be an interesting tactic, I think he might just go for a long stint while the soft runners, I think about 4 to 5, they might come in, and then he might just be able to push on, because him and the hard tire, I must say, they've got a good history together, I must say.
RBS just picked up a 2.5 second penalty, so that's definitely not going to help him. Probably end up costing about 4 to 5 seconds. I was just looking at the overall times with Stignator being 6 seconds off the lead. Lorenzo and Safa both 6.5 ahead of second place. You would say that RTA is in the overall lead at the moment. We've got Superman and still just behind. They are on the Raventy's team, so they possibly be in second place, but Enyon and Ghost Killer are right there as well. So very close on the top three, but I think it's RTA, then serious pace, then race pace at the moment. Tribs?
Yeah, look, again, these oaks always give me hope in the beginning of the sessions, and then come the last 10 minutes, everything changes and turns on its head, and I love it. So as it stands, my predictions for this one, I think Sam's going to take it for the Group 1s. I have a feeling that Yasteel is going to pull something and take it for the Group 3s, but we don't know. And again, that's just my prediction, just a feeling that I have, not just because I'm a Pace fan and a Pace member, but because of the track, the cars.
Just because one of the Pace team's Rubs just disconnected. I know he was having internet issues earlier.
Oh no. That is horrible.
My soul.
That is very, very sad.
And Rub's always one of my favorite guys to watch on track as well.
Oh, definitely.
Besides from the fact that he takes photos for everyone after the race. So shout out to Rab. That's very unfortunate, buddy. Back to the front, Sam now has got an 8-second lead on his mediums. Stignator running soft, second place. RBS softies penalties dropped 18 seconds off the lead. He was 10. He's on racing hard though, so we expect him to be losing a couple seconds a lap. Nadim hanging on there, 5 seconds behind RBS. Then who was that? One of the GR3s getting past there. Lorenzo and Safa running in formation, half second. There's a little bit of inter-team rivalry, I can tell you, always on the chat between those two, so as there's, I'm sure, with all the other teams, but Safa in position to save a little bit of fuel. Manny 8 seconds behind with Yasteel right behind him, unfortunately with a small penalty, and then Enyon. Ghost Killer and Enyon were Sam's teammates, correct?
That's correct.
So I don't know if there's how much inter-team communication between the two different Pace teams, but with Raventy disconnecting, the Pace guys might want to get Manny and Yasteel to move over for their overall hopes, but I'm sure those two want to still show something in what could have been and get a good result in the GR3. What would you say, knowing the team?
Yeah, look, so historically with the Pace boys, we're always respectful of each other on track, but there's some rivalry, eh? So whether they're going to just roll over and move to the side, whether they're just going to roll over and move to the side and let the boys go just for the sake of points, I doubt it. I really, really doubt it. They're going to want to be racing and pushing as hard as they can just to show. You know, this is, again, it is a fun season, but the boys want to show what they're made of, and that goes for every team. They want to show, just because it's fun doesn't mean we can't kick some ass while we're at it.
Yeah, I'm just going to quickly shout out. I see in the comments there, Raventy saying it was his internet and would have been a mad race. I don't know if you heard us just now, but hugely unfortunate. Well done on a great season anyway up until then.
Yeah, well done, but you definitely flew that flag high. It's a pity that we can't get to see you finish the season off, but there's always next one.
Yeah, man had to have that Fernando Alonso farewell, you know, DNF, it's painful.
Yeah, looking at the times, the first two flying laps, Sam 3 minutes 20 both times on his mediums. Stignator 21 first time around, 24 second time around on the softs. His back left's getting very worn. I wouldn't be surprised to see him pit soon. RBS 24, 28. Yeah, RBS did have that 2.5 second penalty last time around, so that did cost him about 4 or 5 seconds. Nadim running 26, 27. Consistency again at the front of the GR3s. Lorenzo 53, 53, Stignator 53, 53, 54, 56 from Manny, 55, 56 from Indian, 57s from Ghost Killer, 58, 59 from EcoBoost, who's on hards, still in contention. Can't rule him out, switching probably to softs later or getting the hards out the way early. A couple of guys having an odd lap.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Hollywood must have had a bad first lap because he hasn't been too far off 56, 58 on his last two laps. He had a 420 on the first lap, where other guys were in the 406s, 404s.
That real lift though.
Very brave. Very, very brave.
They're still running at the back. He pitted on the last lap, I'm sure, looking at his brand new hards that are on, and unfortunately picked up a 1 second penalty. He's dropped to the back of the pack, but only 5 seconds off Naeem.
Don't worry, Stephen, you'll get it soon enough.
Yeah, we'll try. Just thankful that KBR Gillebrain isn't here. What's it?
Is it not Brandewijn now?
Yeah, they just call him Brandewijn for short. Did he change it? That's great.
And I remember telling him, exactly, like when everyone just kept calling him Brandewijn, I was like, guy, change the name, you know, no one's gonna, we all know it's Gillebrain. Everyone's just so used to it, and then I think when I saw it on one of the screenshots, I was like,
Dude, I think in like 3 years of commentating on him, I didn't get it right once. On the screen, we can see KBR Hollywood with very, very second-hand rear tyres. Surely he'll be pitting soon. Let's go look at the other soft runners. Superman has no rear left. Safa and Lorenzo also have totally cooked rears at the moment. And still holding the lead on Superman, is also running with low fuel and no tyres. We can look at that fuel saving. Lorenzo with the flashing fuel light. Safa is not flashing yet, and then Superman flashing. Indian saving fuel, almost quarter of the tank left. So some good strategy there by him on his mediums. He should make another lap where the other guys obviously are going to go into the pits now. You can see Lorenzo and Safa jumping in. I'm sure many will follow.
I would say for us would be the wild card, yeah.
He's going through.
Looking at fuel and tires.
Now we know why he runs that car.
Yes,
I mean, the Genesis, I think from my driving experience, it's okay on tires, but...
So, Ghost Killer Pace going through, Indian going through, so the Master Pace team doing quite well here on fuel. Stignator pitted last time around from the GR1s. The other three cars haven't pitted yet, so Stignator's the first of the GR1s to pit. So Safa's 6 seconds ahead of Superman at the moment. Safa and Lorenzo are running hards at the moment. It's not a bad strategy if it does rain and start raining hard. The hard tires are the better ones to get rid of.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're gonna play that card. Just gamble on it a little bit. Pays off, it pays off. Doesn't, they're still in a shout for it.
So we all don't know at the moment, but if it does, that R3 rain, if it comes in and then there's wet enough where the guys have to pit, the gents that haven't run the softs yet will obviously be losing out on soft time. See at the front RBS pitting from third place on the GR1 Group C cars. Sam and Nadeem going through again. So great fuel management by those two. They're still both running a quarter of a tank. I think RBS, he is out of fuel. Stigmator should jump back into third. RBS possibly switching